Hi friends, my name is Abhimanyu Bhattacharjee. As you know, I am reading this book for you all guys. The name of the book is Laws of the Spirit World. In our last video, we covered up to the foreword, as you can see. And this video, I will be covering the paraphase, which is written in this video. And do like, subscribe my channel for more updates because I will be just reading this full book for you. And what is the thing in that I cannot read all the topics in one video, so I am just making video part by part. Okay, so this video we will read of the paraphase, and I will show you here are the some pictures. This is Korshed Bhavnagari. And here you will find the picture of Rumi and Khurshid Bhavnagari at their bicolor residence. You can see guys. Okay, so I will start. Okay, paraphrase. Khurshid and Rumi Bhavnagari lived in Baikala in Bombay, India, with their two sons, Vipsi, who was born on August 9th, 1950, and Ratu on December 13th, 1951. As the boys grew up, they were extremely interested in all aspects of motoring. Eventually, Vipsi and Ratu set up a garage for a motor service and repairs. They also participate in several motor rallies. Now the next paragraph comes. In the fateful year of 1980, Vipsi and Ratu were to enter a 632-mile cross-country motor rally. The rally was to start on February 23rd, and Vipsi and Ratu decided to take the car out for a trial run from Bombay to Khopoli. Before the event, Khurshid narrated what happened just before their sons set out on their journey. Ratu hugged me tightly, said goodbye, and went out. He hardly went down a few steps. We lived on the second floor. Then he came running back to the door to me. Again he hugged me tight and kissed me. I could not understand why because this was unusual for Ratu. He went down on floor. Then once more he came running back to me and held me tight and hugged me. By then Vipsy came to wish me goodbye. As well I told them to drive carefully. They said, "Don't wait for us, Mama. We will go till Khopoli and our return, or we may stay overnight and come back tomorrow morning." So this is now second page will come of the paraphrase, as you can see. Just as they got into their cars, the boy met their father. Rumi told them to drive carefully. Ratu replied, "Why are you worried, Daddy? In any case, we can't go over 30 miles per hour since we have just overhauled the engine. We will we will be all right." So at 8:30 that night, Vipsi and Ratu set out in high spirit along with two mechanics and a friend. When they did not return by 8 o'clock the next morning, Khurshid and Rumi began to worry. At 8:30 am, a mechanic from the boys' garage came over saying that there had been an accident somewhere near Khopoli and that both Vipsi and Ratu were in hospital. Rumi rounded up a few friends and sped towards the accident site at Khopoli. There they found Vipsy and Ratu car smashed into a tree. Nobody was around, but they learned that the boys had been rushed to the hospital. A few minutes away, when Rumi got to the hospital, he was told that both Vipsi and Ratu had been killed on the spot, but the other occupants of the car had escaped with minor injuries. Rumi asked the mechanic what had caused the accident. All they said was, "We were asleep 1 minute, and the next minute there was a crash." Everything felt unreal to Rumi. He was fortunate to have his friends and neighbors with him to help with the formalities in the hospital. With a heavy heart, he returned home and wondered how to break this tragic news to his wife. As Rumi painfully climbed the stairs to his apartment, Khurshid kept asking him from the landing, "Why have you taken so long? Where are Vipsi and Ratu? Why can't you move faster?" When Khurshid heard the news, she broke down. She felt she had nothing to live for. Khurshid's faith in God was shaken. "I had been very religious," she said. "Now, for the first time, I began to question whether there was a God. If there was a God, then why should He do these terrible things to me? Snatch my sons away when I have never harmed a hair on anyone's head." I was ready to give up God, religion, and life. Then something wonderful happened. On the 29th day after the funeral, a neighbor named Mrs. Dastoor told Khurshid and Rumi an amazing story. Mrs. Dastoor's sister in law had gone to a concert, and during the intermission overhead, a lady speaks of two boys who had recently died in an accident and wanted to send a message to their parents. So Mrs. Dastoor's sister in law had taken down the lady's telephone number. The next day, Khurshid and Rumi got in touch with this lady and she invited them to her house. She had lost her brother and was in contact with him through sins, organized by a powerful medium named Miss Kapadia. On one such occasion, the scenes was interrupted by a cry of two young boys. The boy said they had died in an accident and that their parents were shattered. They wanted their parents to know they were happy in the spirit world and not to worry as they could see their parents. On 22nd On March 22nd, 1980, Khurshid and Rumi attended a group scenes at Mrs. Kapadia's residence on Nepinsi Road. Mrs. Kapadia, the medium, sat in the center and the so the page I've turned this page and now I will read this page. And you can also follow me on Instagram, and if you have any question you can directly connect me on Instagram, so there I can reply all your answers. Other were seated around her. She moved from one person to another to assist them in their communication with their dear ones who had died. When Mrs. Kapadia came to the Bhavnagaris, the first words uttered by her were "Hello, mummy." Fatso, that was what Vipsy had always called his mother. The fact that the stranger knew such an intimate details was what gave Khorshid and Rumi proof that it was their son, and this restored their faith in God. Vipsy and Rato told their parents that they wanted to talk to them alone, so Mrs. Kapadia gave them the name of another medium. An elderly lady called Miss Rishi. A few days later, the Bhavnagari spoke to their sons through Mrs. Rishi. They said, "Mom and Dad, this is Vipsy and Ratu. Yes, we died and reached the spirit world within minutes of our death. It is God's will, and God knows what is the best for each one of us. God is good. You must not cry for us or miss us. We are much happier here. We can see you all the time and are looking after you. We cannot communicate with you until you are completely relaxed and happy. You have to develop powers of concentration." They also told her that she had to stay on earth to do spiritual missions missions which was to help people and spread spiritual awareness. Over the next few months, Khorshid and Rumi, with the help of their sons, developed power of complete concentration and relaxation, which made direct communication between the parents and their sons possible through a process known as automatic writing. She would told she would hold a pen lightly onto a book, concentrate intensely, and gradually the spirit of her deceased son would use her hand to move the pen slowly and unevenly over the page. At first, there were mere scratches, but with days of practice, words formed and she could ask question aloud to which the answers would come written onto the book. Shortly after the boy's death, a very unfortunate family problem arose, and Khorshid and Rumi had to resort to litigation contrary to the advice of some lawyer who said they should not fight the case. Khorshid and Rumi chose the lawyer on the advice that their deceased son conveyed to them telepathically. To their surprise, against all odds, the litigation came to be a successful conclusion. This was one more sign that the Bhavnagaris were indeed being guided and protected. After some time, Vipsi and Ratu conveyed to their parents a desire to dictate by the same process of automatic writing, and then telepathically a book containing the laws of the spirit world for which they had obtained special permission from higher souls. They thought it would be of considerable benefit to human being on earth to know the true laws of God and the spirit world, which, if followed, would help them advance spiritually. It was the desire of Vipsi and Ratu that the book be dictated, published, and distributed widely. However, Vipsi and Ratu were very clear that their teaching and belief were not to be forced on anyone. As friends and even strangers heard of Khorshed's communication with her sons, they came pouring in at the Bhavnagari residence. Khorshid and Rumi slowly realized that by reducing the pain of others through selfless service, their own pain was being considerable reduced. Now, this is the last page which we are into. This was how they found solace after the death of their sons. They provided guidance and comfort to both young and old by sharing their story. They prevented people who had a who had suffered a similar loss of being consumed by sadness. They counseled people regarding problems ranging from addiction to physical abuse. But eventually, they nourished those souls who had a true thirst of spiritual knowledge and a desire to improve spiritually. People posed questions both spiritual and personal. Many of those questions have been reproduced in part 2 of this book. As there is no religion in the spirit world, question and answer that relate purely to any particular religion have been excluded. Rumi and Khorshid Bhavnagari passed away in 1996 and 2007 respectively, and are happily reunited with their son in the spirit world. Okay, guys, now I will be reading this note. Khorshid auntie would communicate with Vipsi at least twice a day, sometime 3 or 4 times a day, only between sunrise and sunset, with no fixed agenda or plan. She received messages on various topics, the sequence, conventional tone, and language of which have been perceived exactly as they were received. The message reproduced here are the ones she received in English, even through her mother tongue in Gujarati. So I will show you. This is Ratu Bhavnagari, 13 December 1951 to 22nd February 1980. And this is the picture of Vipsi. And Vipsi is from 9th August 1950 to 22nd February 1980. From here the part 1 starts, right? So spirit communication from the journals of Khorshid Bhavnagari. So, and the first topic is the real laws of the god. So in my next video I will be covering that, and I recommend everybody to read this book because this is a really good book. And if you read, there are many benefits, such as if you are reading in an English book, then your English communication skills will improve, then you develop a reading habit, then there are many such benefits. And you can connect me in Instagram, and if you have any doubts. And because before this video I have already spoken about all the topics which are there in this book. So if you want to know exactly what are the topics which I will be sharing with you in the description in the next video. And in this video I already spoke about where am I already spoke about Preface. Okay, so this if you want to see the foreword and all the topics which are there, which I covered on the previous video, which is forward. Okay, I again tell you, my name is Abhimanyu Bhattacharjee, and I am making this videos on this book. I am covering topic one by one, and this is a beautiful book, The Laws of the Spirit World. Okay, and if you have any question you can ask me in the comment section, and you can also connect me on Instagram, and my Instagram ID is Abhimanyu Bhattacharjee 1906. and I do food blogging there. So okay, bye bye guys.